Guys, social media for manufacturing and industrial companies, especially LinkedIn, is so important. It can bring massive opportunities in your pipeline. Check out this 2-hour compilation, the best tactics and strategies that I've created strictly around social media for manufacturers. If your industrial content sucks and is not getting engagement, in this video, I'm going to show you the secrets on how we get 6-figure impressions every single month. What's up, guys? I'm Kyle Milan. It's Tuesday, so what does that mean? That means we're going to be talking about industrial marketing today. That's what we do. Let's jump into today's topic. Today is ideas for better engagement with content in industrial marketing. What does that mean? That means that I'm going to come with a little bit of experience and tell you what's working, what isn't, and what you guys can do. Talking point number 1, understand value. People, I'm going to make some assumptions here. I'm going to assume that you either are currently making content or are going to start making content, and that's why you're watching this. If you're like, I'm on the fence, should I make content? Let's start with bullet point number 1. You have to understand that you have so much value between your ears that you need to speak out of your mouth and share with people. Whenever I talk to people about their knowledge and the value that they provide, they're like, I could never do that. I could never do so many videos. Or even companies are like, how could you guys possibly create 130 videos over the next year for us? It's like, if you break everything that you do down and you look at all of the value that you provide, you can make a video for every single topic. So I want you content creators out there to know that you have value to add and get over the fact that you don't think that you can add it. If you are already creating content, you're like, Kyle, I just want the tips. I just want to know how can I make my content get better engagement? Still understand the value. What value can you provide to your target demographic? So you have to first understand, who am I trying to go after? Who am I trying to help? Not necessarily go after from a sales standpoint, but who am I trying to help? This content that I'm going to produce is going to help these people, this demographic. It's going to be salespeople, it's going to be ops people, it's going to be engineers. You first have to start with, who are you trying to help? Then from there, you can get in the mindset of, what is it that they need help with? What do I think I can provide them with value? So we do this with our clients. Our clients sign on with us. Let's say that they're doing a full video package as part of their marketing services. Full video package with us, you're talking 120 videos over the year. Plus they want us to write content. Let's say we're going to do 40 pieces of content a year. I have to first understand, what type of value can I provide to this audience? If I'm going after engineers, is there tools that I can provide to them? Is there a white paper? Is there a book? But just do the same thing from a marketing standpoint with your content. So if you're down with video, you just have to take a step back and say, what could I say on video? And maybe you're like, I don't want to do video, I want to do written. That's fine. The same rules apply. What type of piece of content can I create that I think is going to provide this target demographic with some sort of value? Not everybody is going to get value out of it. So it's either going to have to educate them or entertain them. The entertainment aspect really comes into like graphics or videos. To entertain somebody with an article or with written word, it has to either be shortened to the point, or you really have to hook them to read a 2,000 word piece of content that's entertaining, or 1,000 words that's entertaining. You got to hook them hard to get them to read that, versus watching something somewhat passive, right? They can sit there and watch it while they do other things, versus reading is more active. But what can you create that's going to provide them with value? Put yourself in their shoes. So for me, from a marketing standpoint, I can look at everything that companies are doing that's not working, everything that's new, and then breaking those into categories. So for us, the way that we do our content planning is we look at marketing verticals, services that we offer, what we do every day. I only speak to things that I personally have experience doing and producing results for. So I can say, we have 7 services. All those services are a video category or a content category for us. Within those services are subcategories. So I'm talking about video marketing. I can say video marketing for product manufacturing companies, video marketing for service-based manufacturing companies, video marketing for social, long-form video for YouTube. Like, all of these are different categories and subcategories within the general topic. So if you're doing something like, you have a service, you can think like, who is my target demographic? Oh, well, I'm doing machining, so I'm going after product design engineers or engineers, product development engineers, things like that. What are they thinking about? What can you provide them with that'll make their job easier, or provide them with value to make their job more efficient? Is it design guidelines? Is it best practices? Is it how to price how much something should cost? Is it tools like that? Is it calculators? Is it breaking down how much time it should take to manufacture something. Like if you have a part that's this big and you've got this many corners and this many pieces, then it's going to take you this long to get it. So this is the type of pricing you should expect back. Could it be something like different material selections? So on the machining side or even on the plastic side, these materials are good for these things. If you run into these issues, right? So now you're doing into the problem areas. Engineers deal with problems. This isn't working from a design standpoint or from a functionality standpoint. So what I'm going to do is provide them with guidelines and tips and tricks on how to, from a functionality standpoint, make things easier. Could be for DFM, design for manufacturability. I'm going to create content that's going to make it easier for them to design something that is easily manufacturable. So when you break this down and look at it, it's like, if I'm going after engineers, that's probably the easiest because they all want to learn. They all want to be educated. And there's so much information out there and you can try and be the smartest person in the room. Like I'm going to take my 10 years of experience in this industry with working with engineered products or engineering services. I'm going to apply it to this thing that I'm doing now to help these engineers out. So you have to understand what is going to provide them with value. Operations people, commodity managers, everybody's got their own pain points. Everybody's got their own things that they want to know. You have to think, if I'm going to provide them with something, I look at it like this. I want whoever my audience is to be able to go into whoever their boss is, say or implement something that I said is going to work and it does work for them, and them to get credit for that. So I'm trying to make people better at their job. I don't need them to say, oh yeah, Kyle told me how to do it. I just need them to say, hey, I tried this thing, read about it, learned about it, tried doing this thing. It's working. I'm going to do more of it. Get the pats on your back. It doesn't need to come back to me. I could care less about that. I want you guys to be the best at what you do, and you guys should want your target demographic to be the best at what they do. So instead of creating content to engage a company to use your services, go to the personal level and the person in the job. Who is your target demographic? What are their pain points every day? What are commonalities that you see, frequently asked questions, issues that you see company after company after company run into? What type of content can you create around that to get them to say, this was valuable? That's what it all comes down to. That's why I said in the beginning, if you get value out of this, share it with somebody that you know, because I'm just trying to provide you with some piece of value. Even if I talk for an hour and you get 2 pieces of information that is valuable and you tell one person, it eventually all comes back to me anyway. So you have to go into it and say, I want to help these people, make them smarter, make their jobs easier, make them look smarter, make them look good to their bosses. What type of things should I create and how should I create them? Video is going to be the easiest, but tools, guys, like we have a client that has this book that they send out and it's all about what they do in metal fabrication and how this book can help people design parts better, and also the processing of the fabrication of the products. Tips and tricks and things like that. So you first have to understand the value. Number 2, the best way to do it is to go live, because you can engage, you're going to get more engagement with your audience if you go live, put yourself out there. The reason why this works is because if you look at your space of whatever it is that you do, if nobody else is going live, then you've got first mover's advantage. Even if there are people going live, they're most likely not doing it consistently or frequently enough to get like a buzz around them. Now in my space, there's so many people that are like, we're going live, we're going to do these interview shows, we're going to talk about this X, Y, and Z. Tons of people are doing it. I'm just doing it for industrial manufacturing. That's what separates me. And even people in the space that are doing similar things to me, that have a podcast or a private group or whatever, they're not doing it at the volume that we do it, or the length that we've been doing it, like 90, 100 events live. We've got the longevity there to be able to say, look at our library of stuff. Like nobody's got more content than we produce about this subject, and it's all good content. So going live creates that dynamic environment where you can engage with people. The first time you go live, there's going to be nobody that shows up, maybe one person, or if they do show up, they're not going to comment, they're not going to engage. But it's all about the repetition and getting out there. So you can create content statically, like if I recorded this and posted out there on YouTube like we do with some of our videos, that's static content. Then you can get engagement from comments on it on YouTube, or comments if you post it on LinkedIn, natively uploading it into LinkedIn. You can get engagement that way. But the live format is where you talk about something, you ask a question, maybe one person engages. Some lives that we do, there's like one comment or one question, that's it. And we've got 130 people in there, and they're asking comments and questions, or leaving comments and asking questions back and forth for the entirety of the hour. So going live, put yourself out there. I would say that's a good way to get the most amount of engagement. If you want to ease into it and build up your audience first, then just create video content, post it, so that way you have an audience built up. So when you do go live, you can actually hit it from the ground, like hit it in stride, and people are engaging right away. But it all comes back to that first point, to understand the value. What am I going to talk about? What are the top issues that your potential customers or target demographic deal with at a personal level, at a business level, at a financial level. What type of value can you provide? Then you're going to create a topic around that and say, I'm going to go live to talk about the 3 common mistakes we see new design engineers do when they first come out of college. So it's something where you're not looking at like the search volume behind it, you're looking at what can provide the most value. So it's value versus search. There may not be a lot of people that are searching that phrase, but if you feel like you can create content that's really going to help somebody, it's more of a value-based type of content. The third thing is going to be guest shows. That's the easiest one. If you're nervous, if you're like, hey, I'm creating content, but I want to hold myself accountable to a higher standard, or I want to bring more dynamic personalities into it, just create a guest show. Every week, I'm going to interview a top engineer at a industrial company, and I'm going to ask those engineers to share their story about things that they learned X, Y, and Z, or how they feel like they would handle this situation. Or I'm going to talk to ops people at large corporations that are doing a lot of manufacturing and say, what are the common things that you see and what type of problems are you overcoming on a daily or weekly basis? If you reach out to pretty much anybody in the industrial space and say, hey, I've got this show that I'm doing, it's going to be live, are you open to doing it? Most people are going to say, yes, I'm good to go. So it's an easy way to get people to create content with you, is just say, I'm going to have a show and bring you in. It's going to be a live format. Schedule live on LinkedIn, schedule live on YouTube. That is how you're going to get the most amount of content. And then from there, you're taking their followers and their engagement and bringing it into your ecosystem, so you both collaborate together. You're doubling down on the amount of people, which is going to increase the engagement. So guest shows are great. We did one before. We've gotten away from it. We're going to start going back to it because there's tons of people that I want to have conversations with live like this, and that way you guys can have conversations with them as well and ask them specific questions. So we're going to start doing it again. Our content creation schedule has been so crazy because we're so busy growing with new customers, new industries, new verticals, trade shows. I'm part of associations, speaking at events, stuff like that. So we're going to go back to doing our show, which is called Talk Shop, where it's just good to have that different type of engagement, different type of face with it. So doing a live show, it could be anything. You have to think outside the box. You can just Google search live show topics or podcasts, best podcasts, things like that, and just like look at what they're doing and then change the application of it into what you're doing. So it could be something where you're interviewing experts, interviewing people at big companies in specific roles and functions, and then from there, make it specific to your industry. Don't just say, well, Lewis Howes does it this way, or this person does it that way, so I'm going to do it the same way. You have to apply it to your industry, because industrial manufacturing is different. You don't want, this is not like some cookie cutter approach. Number 4, repurposing the content. You want to increase engagement, you have to push it out there harder. You have to make sure that people understand all the content you're creating. This is not a moment in time approach. If I just do this live show and post nothing until next week, I'm going to get less engagement. So you record the content, record the show, record yourself, long form content, and you chop it up into small pieces, so you're dripping it out over time before you post the next piece of long form content. That is how you're going to keep the engagement rolling. The more engagement that you're getting, views, like impressions, likes, comments, reposts, etc. on social, is telling the LinkedIn algorithm that your content is good, so they will share it out to more people. It's a very simple approach of, I have to post things regularly so that way people know about me and I'm increasing my brand awareness. And then as I post stuff, if you were to add up all of that engagement into a single post, then you have your engagement for the week or the month. But you have to repurpose this content because you don't want it to be forgotten about. Us doing 6 live shows a week on LinkedIn, or 6 live shows a week. Riley would kill me if I did 6 live shows a week.
5 days in the week.
Yeah, he's coming in on Saturday then. Then if we just post that and left it on LinkedIn, it's going to get buried. People aren't going to be able to find it. It's going to drop off of the algorithm. It's going to drop off of people's feeds. That's where YouTube's better, because it stays there. So somebody can search and then that live show or that piece of content shows up. But it has to be repurposed. You take your long form piece, you chop it into smaller pieces, you share it out there, you tag the people to get their engagement, get their connections engagement. That's what it's all about. So if you want to increase your engagement, you have to repurpose your content, start with long form, and then break it into small form from there. And the 5th one's going to be engage with the audience. So you have to engage with the audience. If I just post and never engage, then people are going to be less likely to engage. And you know how difficult it is to get my specific demographic of CEOs, ops people, engineers, sales and marketing people to engage on social? It's difficult because this industry, they're not about engagement. Like, an engineer is not going to be like, ooh, you know what I want to do today? I want to go on LinkedIn and leave a comment on this person's post. It just doesn't happen. So I take it with a grain of salt. I'm not looking for 1,000 likes and 500 comments. I'm not even looking for 5 comments. I'm just looking for, did this piece of content provide value? Do I believe it does? Yes. Did it provide value in some way? Or does my content in general provide value? Am I getting positive reinforcement and feedback from people DMing me saying, Kyle, love your stuff, been following you for years, this worked, or really took what you said in this and I made this change and it worked like this. Get those all the time so that way I know that the content's providing value, so that way that fuels us to keep doing it, invest more resources, more time, etc. But if I'm not engaging back with people, if I just post and don't respond back, then they're going to be like, this is a one-sided relationship, and that can't be like that. You can't just go into it and say, what I want out of this is your attention and views and your engagement back to me, so that gets in front of more people and I can make more money. It has to be what I want is to provide you with value. That's going to require to get your attention and retain your attention for a little bit. If you engage with me, I will engage back with you, or I will try and engage with you before you engage with me, saying, hey, check out this thing, this video, check out this post. I think you'll get some value out of it. As people engage back and forth, if you don't do that, then the audience is just going to be like, this guy never engages back. I'm not even going to leave a comment. Then they stop leaving comments, and then that affects the algorithm. Then LinkedIn thinks that you're just spamming people, and it's not a good situation. So you want to create engaging content and engage back with them. Some things that you can do: ask questions. You can ask questions on your show, live show. You can ask questions in a poll on LinkedIn. You can ask questions in a short form video, like, what are the 3 things that are causing you issues from going from this much growth to that much growth? And you can create content about it saying, these are 3 things that I think it could be, or in my experience, I've talked to these types of companies and these are their 3 things. And then here's how to overcome those things. All those pieces of content can be done differently. It doesn't all have to be in one 20-minute video. It could be short 1 to 2 minute videos for each one. Each point is a 2-minute video explaining why those 3 things are important, or how you can help solve those things, or some things that people need to think about to help relieve those issues that they're having. But it's all about engagement. You have to listen to your audience. If they ask for something, if they ask for a piece of content to be created, put it into your notes and say, I'm going to shoot this video for this person because they asked it. Years ago, every single like, when I first started doing this, like probably 6-7 years ago at scale, every single like that I would get on a social post, I'd go and click on that person, send them a message, hey, thanks for liking my post. Thanks for commenting on my video. Anybody that comments in it, thanks for the comment. I appreciate you. Let me comment back. But every single like I used to do, when I was only getting 2, 3, 4 likes, I would comment to those people, I appreciate you liking it. What ended up happening was there was a couple of those people that then liked every single post I did for multiple years. And those people became like part of my inner circle of content creation, to where I'm like, hey, check this out. Hey, thought of you on this. Or I'm using their situations as examples. This person DM'd me and they had this issue. I think this issue is common in this industry. So I'm going to talk for 30 minutes specifically about this issue to help this person out. And I hope that I help somebody else out at the same time. So that's what it's about, is engaging with your audience to build this community, because that's what it's all about. Listening to what they have to say, not the criticism. If people are like, dude, your videos are too loud, your background music's too loud. One person like was spamming me for 2 months, every single video saying, I hate your voice, I hate the way you look. And I'm like, dude, that's insane. Stop watching my videos then. So you don't want to go into that realm with it, but it's all about creating this community of people that like what you do, support you, you support them back, and it is a win-win situation. You guys are using LinkedIn wrong in industrial sales.
In this video, we're going to show you how we grew our LinkedIn presence and how you guys can as well and make money doing it.
What's up, guys? I'm Kyle Milan. I'm here with
Alex Brown.
So we're here to talk about industrial sales and manufacturing sales. So those of you that are new to the content, I have a YouTube channel with over 1,500 videos talking about industrial sales, industrial marketing every first Thursday of the month and the last Thursday of the month. Is it week 3 or week 4, Laura? Laura doesn't even know. I think it's the third week on Thursday. We go live at 2:30 talking about industrial manufacturing sales. What types of things can we teach you guys that you can implement today? Every single Tuesday I go live at noon to talk about industrial marketing. Please, if you guys are on LinkedIn, head over to the YouTube channel, hit subscribe button, turn on notifications. If you guys want to listen to this in podcast format too, industrial sales and marketing with me, every major podcast platform, all these episodes get uploaded so you can listen to it while you're cutting the grass or getting your nails done. So today we're here to talk to you about integrating social media in manufacturing sales. What's going to happen is we're going to go through, we got 5 bullet points to talk about, go through the 5 bullet points, and we're going to take a break, answer any questions and comments when we come back. So if you guys have questions as we're going through it, comments to it, please put them in the comment section below, whether you are on LinkedIn, YouTube, and if you're watching this on the replay, you can still leave a comment. We get notified. We'll come back in and respond to any questions that you have. If you want to learn more about the company MFG Tribe, head over to mfgtribe.com. and check out what we're all about. Industrial sales and marketing leader in the United States. This is all we do for the last 8 years, dominating for industrial companies in every single vertical. We're out there just crushing competition for our customers.
I'm still waiting for somebody to stump you, Kyle.
Yeah, Alex has
You got to bring down Kyle's house.
Yeah.
It's time to stump him. Let's go. Tim was there, or Tim commented. I saw that he's waiting too. Tim, maybe you need to bring some people in here to stump him. I mean, you're here. You're always supportive. Maybe you need to bring some people in to stump him. I think you could get somebody.
Alex has this game where ask me a question that I don't know the answer to, which I think is impossible. Not because I know the answers to everything, but
in industrial, it can't be some complex math equation.
Yeah.
But again, we have ChatGPT for that.
Yeah. If you ask it, I'll take that one after the break and just chat GPT the response for that.
And remember, you get some sort of swag from us. If you stump him and you give him a good question, you do get some sort of swag from me. And the swag, I think, is going to have to increase a little bit. I've got something in mind that might maybe a Yeti cup or something like that.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, we got some good swag here. We should have a set deck, Laura, where we've got all of our latest and dopest company swag.
Our new hats that you got. Oh man,
new hats, good. Yeti cups, notebooks, all the good stuff. All right, let's get into it, Alex. Bullet point number 1: set up routine. Alex is going to write on the board because everybody said his handwriting's better than mine.
I don't know about that. My mom would beg to differ, especially when I was in high school and college.
This is what they say. The people have spoken. Look at that. That's some pretty handwriting right there. For this audience, industrial, manufacturing salespeople, people that Alex talks to every single day, being the sales manager here, in your experience, when you talk to these people, when we talk to them as a company, before setting up a routine, what do you think in general the market of industrial manufacturing responds with when you're like, are you guys doing LinkedIn?
Everybody knows it's out there. Everybody knows that they need to utilize it, but they're not utilizing it. They know like, hey, it's very useful in the space. Everybody that is a decision maker, everybody, even if they're not a decision maker, especially in the industrial manufacturing space, they know that it's important to utilize it. They just don't know how. That seems to be the biggest problem is they go, I know that I need to grow my network. I know that I need to touch base. I need to offer resources, but how do I do it? And it's pretty simple if you really think about it.
So Alex has been here for
2.5 years.
Just over 2 years.
Just over 2 years. Yeah.
Just over 2 years now. Spent almost a year in project management, account management, so he can understand what it is that we do, why do we do it, how do we do it. Then he slid over into the golden side of sales. People say the dark side of sales. I feel like that's like the light side of sales. Yeah. But you originally, in your previous roles, weren't using LinkedIn much. So when it comes to setting up a routine, touching from your experience, same experience that they're going to have, what type of hurdles are you overcoming? What type of things can you put in place to help get that thing done?
I mean, the biggest hurdle you're going to overcome is consistency. I mean, it's a new thing. It's something that you haven't done before. You're not used to doing. So you need to make sure that you're setting time aside every day to do it. Monday through Friday. It doesn't matter, if it's 30 minutes. It doesn't matter if it's an hour. Make sure that you're setting some time aside to keep the consistency up. Time block. That's one of the biggest things that I do. If you look at my calendar is so hectic when it comes to anything, but it's because I'm time blocking. I'm making sure that I have made time, and every day I have a time block for at least 30 minutes to an hour every day. Even now when I'm still utilizing LinkedIn the amount that I am, to go in and make sure that I'm checking my messages, make sure that I'm, touching back with people that have messaged me, commenting, doing likes, connecting with people, making sure that I'm doing those things, because even when you are used to doing LinkedIn, I have to still go back to what the core is, which is to grow my network, to connect with people, to engage, to offer resources, because sometimes I'm in LinkedIn and I get lost. I'm doing 8 different things. I'm going into sales nav, I'm trying to grow my network growth, but you need to make sure that you're doing the core things, which is creating content, making sure that you're on the platform, engaging, offering resources to people that could be potential clients, growing your network, offering, again, I keep saying resources, but making sure that you're not just out there selling when you're on LinkedIn, because you will get known as the guy that's, always selling.
Yeah. So like anything new, if you guys aren't used to it, then you're going to forget to do it. And so like anything in your personal life, whether you're trying something new, trying to break a habit, etc., you have to have some sort of reminder in place that's going to say, hey, remember to do this. That's where, like Alex said, the time blocking can come into play. If you set reminders throughout your day, even if it's a 15-minute increment in the morning, noon, and before you go home, go into LinkedIn and do X, Y, and Z. And we'll give you those tips of areas to focus on. If it's new, you have to set those reminders and we'll tell you what you should be doing on each of those times. But every single day, a few times a day, going in there and checking into it and being like, this is what I need to do, and blocking that time accordingly. Otherwise, you're never going to do it. And if you don't use this on a daily basis to what it can actually do, there's no possible way that you can expect to see massive results. It's like working out. If you want to get thinner or bigger, if you do it once a week, you're not going to hit that goal. But if you're doing it every day, you have a higher likelihood to hit it faster. And so we'll give you the tips, everything that I've learned over the past, 5-6 years of utilizing everything Alex has learned over the past probably year and a half or so using. I mean, he took his network from, what was it, probably like 300 to over 3,000 in 15 months. I mean, and that's not just from him sending out connection requests. That's him sending out connection requests, him producing content, people saying, dude, I've seen your stuff. They want to connect with him. I mean, that's what it's all about. So there's a certain algorithm to it that we do and a cadence that we do it to help us grow. But if it wasn't being done every single day, just like in sales, if you're not working that pipeline every single day, it's just going to be like this. You're going to be like, I got some growth, I got some action, and then I don't. So you get out what you put in. But like Alex said, setting up that routine, easy to do with time blocking. But once you get that muscle memory going, you won't even need to be reminded. It's just like, oh, now's the time for me to go into LinkedIn.
Yeah, and it's at the point, guys, is 30 days. Give it 30 days. It becomes a habit. It's a 30-day thing. It might be a pain in the butt for you for those first 30 days, but then it becomes a habit where when you're coming in, one of the first things I do is, I'm looking at my calendar right now. I have check email, HubSpot task, and sales nav. That's the first thing I do as soon as I walk in every day. I'm checking my email, I'm checking my HubSpot task and sales nav, making sure that the people that have emailed me or messaged me in my sales nav or in my messages on LinkedIn are getting a response quickly. Because if you're not sitting there consistently checking it, they might have a need, and then 3 or 4 weeks later, you actually see the message and you go to respond to them, and they've already filled that need. As sales guys, we have to stay on top of things. That we have to make sure that we're touching base with everybody, touching base with clients, making sure that our inboxes are, all read, and that we've making sure that everything that needs to be looked at has been looked at.
Step number 2, let's talk about building a network. That's the fun stuff. Now we're getting into some fun stuff. Build that network, or build a network, whatever you want to do. How's it looking, Laura? Is it looking good? It's looking good. Laura's got those lights set up. All right, building a network. So you going from 300 to 3,000 in, let's call it 15 months. Mm-hmm. How did you do it?
You have a certain amount of invitations that you guys need to send out, or you have a limit of invitations that you have to send out every week. It's 100, right? It's 100.
Yeah, it's 100.
You get 100 connections. Making sure every week that you are maxing out those connections. If you have gone through a week and you've only sent out 20 or 30 connections, you've missed 70. You've missed 70 potential people that could connect with you and that could, potentially be a client in the future, or potentially lead to introducing you to a client in the future. So making sure that's going to be the first thing you do. If you guys aren't using some sort of automation, we know that LinkedIn, is not a big fan of the automation portion of it, but making sure that you guys are at least doing that. Go to your second degree connections. When you're trying to find people to follow, go to the people that are already within your industry and look at who they're following. Go and connect. Maybe if you know somebody, send that connection note. Send it with a note. Be like, hey, Jimbo, I know Billy Bob, and it would be great to connect with you. Sometimes you don't even have to send it. A lot of the times when I'm sending them to people that I'm already a second degree connection with. So they'll see, hey, he's a second degree connection. So he knows somebody that I know that we're both connected with, and they're more likely to connect that way. It's easier to find those people as well because, hey, you're going to go, if you're in machinery or if you're a CNC machinist or anything like that, everybody that you probably are working with have people within the industry, especially if you sales guys out there, make sure that you're looking at who else on your team has a good LinkedIn following. If nobody does, make it a priority that you go out and have that following, and that you're the one that when people see LinkedIn, they think, or they see your company, they think of you. That's what I'm trying to do. We got Kyle that's trying to do that. I'm trying to be the mini Kyle. Every time somebody thinks of MFG, they think of Kyle, not only because he's our CEO and that because he's our strategist and all that and is the brains behind the operation, but because he's out there. He's the one giving you guys resources, teaching you guys what to do, just getting out there again and making sure that you're filling out those invitations without getting too long-winded. Fill out every single 100 of those invitations a week.
Yeah, I mean, like Alex said, you miss an opportunity without doing it. So you're allowed 100 a week. If you don't send it, this is not rollover for minutes, right? You don't get to then do 200 or 130 the next week. It's just that's the limitation. You really want to break it into like 25 a day, right?
Yeah.
So 20, 25 a day. Sometimes they'll let you get away with 110, 120 a week. You can kind of reach that ceiling, but that's where it starts. You have to send connection requests to people that are relevant. First, update your profile. I'm not going to get into that. I have a whole video on YouTube, LinkedIn profile updating and the steps for that. Just check the channel. I go through it in probably like an hour of exactly how to update your profile. But update your profile and then send connection requests strategically to people that are relevant to your space. So they're going to see your profile picture, check your headline and be like, oh, this guy is relevant to me. I'm going to look at his profile and accept it. Sending out those 100 every single week is critical. If you guys want to know how to automate it, then just type in I want to learn in the comment section. We've got a 1 hour and probably 7-minute webinar where I walk you through exactly how to do it with the steps of building Sales Navigator searches and then using a third-party tool that can assist with the outreach opportunities that you have. But building a network, connecting with people, that's what it's all about. It's all about networking. I know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody that could use me. As I share and create content to my network, they see it, they engage with it, it then gets sent into the feed of their network for potential future engagement. So it's all like one big ecosystem. But if you're not building out your network, then there's no way that people are going to potentially hear what it is that you have to say. And hopefully what you have to say is something that's value. And it's not just like Alex said. Everybody knows those that are constantly selling out there on LinkedIn. You just want to be viewed as a source of information, whether it's education or entertainment, or possibly combining those two together. Usually these shows are a little bit
That's
more
why you bring me
entertaining.
on, right?
Yeah.
That's why you bring me on.
These
On the
shows-
entertainment, you're the brains.
Yeah, these shows on sales are usually more entertaining than just me doing marketing shows on Tuesday. But education and entertainment, if you can combine them together, great. But that's what the goal should be, is that you're trying to help your network learn something, whether it's the technology, the secrets that you guys do at your shop, facility services, automation equipment, manufacturing equipment, industrial stuff, whatever it is, machine shops, anything that you can do to help somebody else producing that piece of content and expanding your network to help people, not sell to them first. The sales will come naturally afterwards, and we'll get into that in the last bullet point of how to harness that. But you got to build that network first. The bigger the network strategically, the better chances you're going to have of providing an impact and possibly getting some opportunities from it. So number 3, we're talking about create content. Everybody loves creating content.
I think you're the only one that loves creating content.
You love it too.
I mean, I like it because I get to talk with Laura, but that's about it.
Yeah.
I love creating content.
Laura says she loves creating content.
That's because you get to talk to me, right, Laura? We have a mutual understanding.
Yeah.
That's why we like creating content together.
What do I mean by creating content? You could do a show like what we do.
Yeah.
Or you could create your own content. Alex, what do you got to say on it?
You can create so many different forms of content. When Kyle and I are trying to get our sales guys to consistently post, we know that not everybody has access to a Laura. Not everybody has access to somebody that can sit there and help you create the content. Sometimes you have to create the content yourself. Your cell phone, this thing right here, is your best friend. It is very easy for you to sit there and go, okay, hey, let me film a live video real quick of me sitting. I do it on sometimes just updating off of my board. I have a board. You guys have seen it, but for those of you that follow me, I sometimes update you on my board. How's my pipeline looking? Just something just to show people that you're out there, you're working, you're grinding, you're making it, you're doing deals, no matter what it is. It could even be just something funny. Mason comes into me sometimes and catches me off surprise. One of my sales guys comes into me and catches me by surprise and goes, teach me something, or ask me a question, or he'll go and video one of our automation or one of our PPC experts doing something. Go out and video your shop. Go out and video your CNC shop doing something cool. Go out and video you on a sales call. Hey, I'm on a sales call. I'm here. You don't necessarily have to say where you are, because we know that we don't want our competitors to come and try and swoop in and steal it. But be like, hey, I'm on a sales call. Talk about what you're going to be doing. Talk about what you're going to be talking about. Talk about what your week looks like. Talk about wins, losses, things that you've learned. That's just the video aspect of it. You couldn't do a post with a photo with some text on it. That's just as, well, I mean, not just, but it's close. It's better than nothing. We all know video
Yeah.
works the best. Create a photo, take a photo of your team, take a photo of something you're doing, put a little blurb in there, link it back to your website, do a poll. Kyle's biggest thing sometimes, are what's your favorite pizza topping? And Kyle gets annoyed because he's like, why is everybody sitting here? They interact with the favorite pizza topping more than me trying to offer them a resource sometimes. But even just offering that makes you visible, makes people go, oh, it identifies you as a person, identifies you as someone funny. If you're asking, something like that. There are so many different forms of content. You don't have to stick with the boring stuff is basically really what I'm saying. And it doesn't have to really be time consuming.
Yeah, I mean, there's somebody I forgot who it was. I forget her name. I see her post all the time, and I engage with them on LinkedIn. But she travels a lot, and she, as she's traveling, she's taking pictures of funny license plates that she sees or cool license plates. And that's like her thing when she's traveling. You can make your own thing up. And like Alex said, like, what's something that you learned this week? So if you are traveling, it's like, hey, I'm here traveling through central Wisconsin. And this cool thing happened.
They're known for their cheese.
Yeah, they certainly are. And so that's where you can just do it about anything. It doesn't have to be always like, I'm going to say this sentence that's going to provide somebody with value. Again, go back to education or entertainment. If you're entertaining somebody, if you're giving them something fun in the break in their day, then that's what it's all about. If you can give someone a tip, that's even better as well. But not everybody's always looking to learn. I feel like naturally people want to learn, but really what people want is to experience, like, what are you dealing with from your POV? Like, what type of things are you getting into? And if you can show them that raw aspect of it, then that's what makes it more engaging for people. They start to get to know you better. You start to form that relationship. Your network is bigger.
Exactly.
Then eventually people are like, oh, hey, this guy's done so much for me, or this girl's done so much for me. I want to repay them and give them props. Now, like Alex said, we'll get tons of engagement on a poll, like favorite pizza topping, or when I did that whole what video conferencing software do you use? Teams versus Zoom versus Google Meet versus other. I'll get like 300 votes in 24 hours. Yet we post a video laying out the exact strategy for how to make $2 million from social media, and it's like we get like 13 to 15 likes and 3 comments, right? But here's the crazy thing. People will watch Alex's content, not post, not engage, not like it. We've got people that are liking and engaging on everything. We love that because that gives us it's like oxygen for us. Like, just a thumbs up to content is like, you've seen it, you got value out of it. That's going to give us the fuel to go and create more, right? We do these lives. Sometimes we get 60 comments in a live, sometimes we get 0.
Mm-hmm.
But those times that we get 60, that gives us the fuel to go and create more and more content. So we're not just gauging off of each one. But there's people that will not engage with his content, will not engage with my content, and then we'll find out 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, or at the case of MPE, 6 years later, somebody's like, you know what? They book a discovery call. I've been watching your stuff for 9 months, man. Or at MPE, the guy's like, I've been watching your videos for 7 years. Did not even know about it.
When Kyle was doing car videos.
Yeah,
this is before Lara.
Back in the day, back in 2017, when I was doing videos in my car by myself with the tripod and all that stuff. Like, we're talking back like way when I was an amateur video speaker person. Yeah, speaker person. But that's what's crazy is people don't engage. And then
they're utilizing everything that we're teaching them.
Exactly. And it's like, bro, give me that blue thumb. Give me that blue thumb on LinkedIn. That's what I want.
Even a laugh.
Yeah.
Even a laugh,
or
something.
The laugh emoji on LinkedIn. Something to know that like you're seeing this and you're getting value from it. Not everybody's going to leave a comment. We get that. I don't go into it looking for comments. I go into it looking for, there's been enough times that people have DM'd me in either a connection request or already connected and said, hey, Kyle, your content has done X, Y, and Z for me. And I appreciate it, and I just want to say thank you. Or Alex gets on a discovery call, and the person's like, I've been watching your company page, I've been watching your videos, Alex, all over LinkedIn for the last 9 months. Now I'm ready to take some action and have you guys do some work for us, so I reached out to you. And it's like crazy, isn't it?
It is, and it's funny that just because you're not getting the likes and getting the comments that you like as well. I mean, we all obviously want that, but it goes to show you guys. Not always is having those vanity metrics and having all the likes and all the comments necessarily a mark of success. A mark of success is staying consistent, making sure if you can get in front of one person that turns into a client, over the month of content that you're doing, isn't that worth it for you? Isn't that worth it? For me, it is. Even if it's a small client, that's a win for me. That means the thing that I'm doing is actually turning into business, is turning into money in my pocket, turning into money in the company's pocket. It is a way to grow, and it is also a way to build a relationship. It's not only just a sales tool. Like a lot of CRM systems and stuff like that, you can't build a relationship through a CRM system. You can't build a relationship through a website. You can build relationships through LinkedIn. We are in the age of relationship building, and AI is taking over. People want to talk to fellow people. An AI will never take over a salesman. And however anybody will say that the AI, they won't. I won't. I mean, maybe the younger generation eventually will, but none of my generation like that wants to buy from somebody that they can't form a relationship with, because if you can't form a relationship and ask that person questions and get an answer and get, honesty from people, because being honest in your relationship building is important. And if you are, and you're trying to show them some sort of resource, show them some way that you can help them, they're going to eventually lead back to just purchasing from you.
You can get fun with the content. You can get creative with it. You don't overthink it. Keep it raw. It does not have to be polished. You don't need to do high production value unless that's a service that you're offering. On a call today, he saw some videos that we've done for clients and was telling the owner of the company that we were on the call with that he's seen our videos and the production value is super high. It does not. So we offer as a service. So it's just natural that when I have a video team of 4 and tens of thousands of dollars worth of equipment, when we want to create content for ourselves, we're going to use the equipment we have. But
when we can,
when they're not traveling with all of it and we don't have duplicates of everything yet.
When they're traveling, we're still creating raw content.
Yeah, we still got raw content. 2 weeks ago, we had one camera because we had 2 people traveling in 2 different locations and the equipment was gone. So we had one camera, we worked with it. The studio that we're in, the settings that we have, like we just kind of work with everything that we have. Even if we had to do this from a phone, we would still do it, because raw is better than polished most of the time, and raw is definitely better than not having anything. So for you guys out there like, oh yeah, of course, Kyle and Alex, you got Laura behind here controlling everything. You got a whole team and marketing agency of 20 plus people helping you out. Yes, however, even from your point of view, you have your phone and you have your brain, and just film stuff and document it and speak. Or like Alex said, take a picture, create a long form post. If you don't like to be on video, just write some text stuff and put a picture with it. Ask questions. Again, educate or entertain. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, and it's not that complex, guys. If you look at Kyle's stuff, if you look at my stuff, if you look at our walls and our posts on LinkedIn, you will see that there are raw stuff on there. And actually, I get some of the best engagement, as you said, out of some of my raw stuff.
Yeah.
Because it isn't as polished, as formal. Sometimes I am not speaking. I mean, you guys see my live. Sometimes I'm saying like a lot, or you guys. Apparently, I say you guys a lot. So I've been trying to stop saying that, you guys.
All right. So create content. Number 4, engage with your network. Engage with your network. I'm going to duck down here so I'm not blocking the view. We good, Laura? Yeah, show me what it look like. What's up? I'll put my little thumb up. Show Alex writing. All right, engage with your network. So you set up the routine. You're starting to use LinkedIn every day. You then built your network. You're creating content. A lot of that is one-sided. You have to engage with your network. Talk to me about that, Alex.
Engaging is not necessarily just messaging them, DMing them, doing that. Engage with them, as we've been saying, throw some likes up out there, go onto what they do, like their new, if they've changed titles, if they've changed jobs, making sure you're liking on them. If you see something that's really cool, repost. If you see something that's really cool that someone has posted that that maybe your network could utilize as a resource, repost that. That's important. Going through and doing the skills, up-liking the skills, do anything that somebody can see and engage with your network, ask them questions, support them. If they're posting something, check out our company outing that we did. Do a comment. Awesome company outing. How much fun, do a like, do something, because people, we all know, as Kyle and I just said, we like it when you engage with our stuff. People will see that you've engaged with their stuff, see your profile. Maybe they're not necessarily very, knowledgeable on what you do or what your company does, but they see that you like it, you have an opportunity. I click on people. If I see you liking my stuff and I don't know who you are, I'm going to click on you, see who you are. Oh, you work for this company. Oh man, if potentially we could do business with them. For me, I'm going, okay, hey, maybe they're interested in us pushing out, or maybe the people that you're like, they're like, hey, I could actually utilize their services. I've had people that, on LinkedIn that I've liked to post on, and then they've messaged me and I've DM'd them a couple times. And if I like a post of theirs, all of a sudden they're coming through going, hey, Alex, how are you? Thank you for the connection. They're responding to my DMs now because they realize that, hey, he's interacting with me. He's engaging. He's a real person.
Yeah, and he's not looking to just sell them. Right?
Yeah, I'm supporting you. And support is a really big thing in every relationship. I mean, we all know in our private lives and in friendships, in business relationships, that is important, is being able to rely on somebody, being honest with somebody, and not coming again across as just somebody that's there to sell.
So everybody wants support. So if somebody creates something and I see it and I get value out of it, or entertainment or education, or just want to applaud and commend them for doing it, I'm going to engage with that post. Now, if you go into it expecting people to engage, then you're going to stop creating content. You're going to stop using LinkedIn within the first 7 to 14 days, because you're not going to get back what you think that you should get back. So if you go into it and say, look, I'm like Alex said in the last point, try it for 30 days, or maybe it was 2 points ago. I'm going to do this for 30 days. I'm going to commit to it, and I'm going to gauge my satisfaction and the type of response that I get after the 30 days. And all you need is one person to like or comment or something on one of your pieces of content, and that should be enough to keep you going. I mean, we're producing 35 videos a week, and if you added up all of the content from the 5 posts a day that we have going on my profile, all of the content, it would not, if you're just seeking that dopamine drip, it would not be enough to say, yes, this is worth it for me to take time out of my schedule and my team's time and money and resources to say, let's invest into it. But if you look net over multiple years of doing it, it is 1,000% worth it. So you got to look at playing the long-term game, create that content, engage with your network, make friends. There's people that I've been connected with for years that have not really engaged with them much, and then I run into them at an event. It's like, dude, we've been connected on LinkedIn. Oh my God. And like, you meet in person and you help them out with something. Like, that's what it's all about. It's all about networking. And the industrial manufacturing space is so small. It's massive, but it's so small. Like when we were walking at NPE, I ran into 2 people that I've not talked to in 12 plus years just by walking the show. And it's like, it's such a small industry, and people going from one vertical to another, or one company to another, going from selling equipment to an industry to then working inside of that industry on the services side. Like, there's so much crossover between verticals and between companies that it's so small that the more people you know, the better likelihood you are going to have to be able to make an impact, educate people, grow your network, and then eventually it should result, like you salespeople out there, you're looking to turn this into a revenue source. LinkedIn will become a massive revenue source for you as long as you go into it like, look, I'm going to try and grow my network, meet as many people as I can, and produce content and get engagement and maybe some laughs out of it. The money will come almost instantly as long as you go into it with that type of mindset. And when you look at net over years of activity, you will see that you've got a massive opportunity with revenue coming into your company, opportunities, deals, etc. We'll go into some of those things in the next bullet point. But it just works. We wouldn't still be doing this if it didn't work, and we wouldn't be advising our clients to do it and doing it on behalf of our clients sometimes if we knew that it wasn't a massive opportunity for you guys. So bullet point number 5. Send some DMs. Let's send some DMs.
Slide into them DMs.
Slide into those DMs. Which camera are we on, Laura? We're in whiteboard camera. Whiteboard camera. Can you see my finger? Why you got to go to the other camera? Quit switching cameras. Making me look like I'm all hunched over. I'm trying to stay out of the shot. I'm out of the shot. There we go. I'm out of the shot. Send those DMs. Slide into the DMs, as the kids say. How are we handling DMs? How are we handling them internally? And how are we advising people to handle
them? So when you're sliding into a DM, again, as we mentioned earlier, don't come off selling so fast. The amount of people are coming into my DMs that are like, hey, we can build your lead list. We can increase your funnel right off the bat. I see that as soon as I see that little, 3-sentence blurb, I immediately know you're trying to sell me something. I'm not even going to open it. You could be giving me something that, yes, I could utilize, like something, yes, like, oh my God, this could be a huge game changer for me. But if you're just going to come across immediately selling, 99% of the time, it's going to be something that I can't use. And I'm not going to waste my time looking into it. Send a resource, ask them a question based off of them, comment on something maybe that they posted. If it's a birthday, send them a happy birthday. If they posted it's their birthday, just send them a happy birthday DM. Check back in with them. If it's somebody that you've connected with or seen at NPE or a trade show or something like that in the past, send them a DM, check back up, be like, hey, it was great meeting you at NPE. It's great meeting you at FabTech, IMTS, whatever trade show that you guys are at, or whatever event that you guys maybe had met each other. Touch back on that, open up that conversation, be friendly, almost like a text back and forth. You don't necessarily, and again, it's not going to be like texting where they're going to come back maybe right away. That might be a day or so until they respond. But keep up that rapport, keep up those DMs, because even if you're not necessarily selling to them right away, they know what you do, especially if you've done what Kyle has said on your LinkedIn. Even if they don't know who you are, if you click on the LinkedIn and do what Kyle has taught you, all of you how to do, and there is a video again up there for you guys to take a look at, or look at my LinkedIn, look at Kyle's LinkedIn, get ideas off of that. If someone comes on your LinkedIn page, they're going to know what company you work for. They're going to know what, especially if you've been creating content, what your capabilities are, what your company's capabilities are, what you're trying to achieve. And guess what? They might reach out to you before you even have a chance to sell. They might be like, hey, actually, I've seen it. The amount of times that's happened to me where I'm just DMing somebody, I've given them a resource. I haven't actually even had an opportunity to pitch to them, but I've been DMing them, and sure enough, boop, I get a discovery call. Just because I opened up that report, just because I asked a question, just because I offered them a resource that made them think, oh, wait, actually, this is something that we are not currently doing. This is something that we should be doing. This is something that we should be utilizing. For you guys, this is our product or service that we are not currently utilizing that we should, that can save us money, save us time, make our lives easier, all that kind of stuff. Resources, opportunities for them to learn, and questions. Those are going to be the big things that you're sending in your DM. Don't show up and throw up. Don't send your pitch through a DM. Even if you've been having a rapport for a couple of weeks, don't all of a sudden go from asking them how their golf holiday was immediately into pitching them. Because no matter what, at that point, they're going to be like, okay, well, that's what
the end goal is.
That's what the end goal was.
Yeah.
They know what the end goal is, but they don't want you to,
yeah.
They want to be wined and dined.
Yeah. Don't show your cards right away.
Yeah. No.
Right. I couldn't have said it better. Everything Alex said. Only thing I would add to that is be patient with it, provide value. And then the thing that I always say to people is, look, if you ever need something in this area, let me know. Yes. That's the only way that I'll pitch. I'll never give a hard pitch, a hard sell. Hey, if you're looking for a new agency, click this below to visit our website, etc. I just say, if you're ever looking for stuff on marketing, you ever want to jam about strategy, whatever, just let me know. And then moving on to it, like, here's a video we just shot. I think you should get some value out of it. Share it with somebody that maybe your team, etc. But it's all about just going into it saying, I'm just trying to connect with you and build a relationship. I'm not trying to sell to you. Value first, selling second. If you're in manufacturing, I guarantee that this social strategy will make you 7 figures. Now, for those of you that are new to the show, what we talk about here is industrial marketing. We have a topic for the show. I go through it, share some nuggets of information, give you guys as much value as possible. That's what we're all about here on this show. If you haven't already subscribed to YouTube, head over to YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Kyle, what YouTube channel? Just type in my name. You'll find it. Subscribe to it. We have over, 1,200, 1,300 videos at this point on the YouTube channel. 1,300 videos. What are they talking about? Industrial marketing, industrial sales. That is it. Sometimes we put some fun stuff in there, like we did a Hot Ones challenge. But for the most part, 99.9% of it is talking about what it is that you guys do every single day. Even if you're in marketing, you're like, dude, I want to help sales guys out. There's content about sales, and you can go to the sales team and be like, hey, check out Kyle. I watched this live, and he said you should be doing this every day. And that's a fact. So please share it with somebody you know. Hit them blue thumbs on LinkedIn. If you're coming from YouTube, give us a like. Share it out with people. We're just trying to spread the word, help you guys out as much as possible. Enough of the spiel. Let's jump into the content. What are we talking about today? We're talking about social media. Social media for manufacturers in your niche. How are you going to stand out and everything in between? I got 5 bullet points. And so for those also that are new to this, and even the people that have been watching me for a while, you know that this is not scripted, completely off script. I spent maybe 5 minutes coming up with these 5 topics. Why is that? Because this is what we do every single day. So it's easy to talk about something we do every single day that works instead of me just going through some sort of prompts, chat GPT answers, etc. We got 5 topics. We're going to go to the board. So the first topic is going to be, or the first point, pick a platform. So you got LinkedIn, and I'll just hit you with it instead of making you wait. LinkedIn is the best for everybody in industrial, the best for everybody in manufacturing is to focus your attention on LinkedIn. Let's talk about all the others. Facebook, great for employee stuff, great to your shop floor workers, the fork truck drivers, shipping and receiving, engineers, whoever. They want to share stuff about their job. They're proud of where they work. Create a Facebook page and post some stuff out there. Now, if you're looking for employees, we did this with one of our clients up in Canada, They were looking for welders, machinists, etc. They needed like 20 or 30 people. Facebook ads can work great for that because you can say, show me people in this specific region with these interests, with these skill sets, etc. Facebook ads are cheap. Get that job post out there, see if they click it, etc. But other than that, you would be hard pressed to tell me that overall strategy for industrial companies should be focusing on Facebook. It's LinkedIn. Same thing with Instagram. Even you out there that make cool stuff, machine shops, automation companies, you post something on Instagram, you get some engagement. Here's the hard part about it. If you can't actively search a platform and find the people that you're trying to market or sell to, then that platform loses its reputation, in my opinion, about what you should use as a social platform, as a means to deliver your message, deliver your information, and get some opportunities back in return. You're not going to get that from Instagram. Now, could you? Yes, but can you consistently? No. No to Instagram, no to Facebook. Let's talk about X. Twitter, people have been using Twitter for years in manufacturing. Like, oh, you on Twitter? Did you see that tweet? There's no engagement ever. Like, I've looked at it hundreds and thousands of manufacturing associations, companies, people that are talking about industrial marketing, etc. The engagement level on Twitter is typically low. Now, can you use it as like a way to get them, 5 sentences, 2 sentences out, push some stuff out there? You can. Can you use it to follow people that are important to you? Like, to me, Twitter's just meant for celebrities and basically famous people, politicians, and stuff like that. That's still how I feel about it. I felt like it for the last decade. I still feel like it. Maybe something will change in the future, but probably not. So Twitter is out. TikTok, right? Those of you that are like, dude, I don't watch TikTok. TikTok, it's great for consuming content. It's great for doing things that are weird and funny and cool and stuff like that. Not great for you guys. Focus on LinkedIn. This should be number 1. YouTube, can it be considered a social platform? No, but people, it's all about when people are consuming content, they're either trying to educate themselves or entertain themselves. They go to YouTube to entertain. Is it a social platform? No, it's a search engine. It's a content platform. But YouTube should be in the mix of, if we're talking about 2 most important platforms out there that are under the strategy of social, which, what are you trying to use social for? You're trying to use social to boost your brand, put you in front of people that you want to market and sell to, take over market share, and get in front of everybody that is in your industrial market that you're trying to sell to. They're on LinkedIn. They're also on YouTube. Do they go to search? Yes, but that's a whole different subject. But look at LinkedIn and say, I'm going all in on LinkedIn. This is the platform. There's so many different aspects of LinkedIn, which we're going to cover some of these, but there's so much there. But you have to say, I'm going to pay attention to LinkedIn. Look at your company's website. Do you even have your company page linked on your website? Or do you still have Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and TikTok and YouTube only, right? So start, LinkedIn is the professional version of showing your company what people care about, what you guys care about, pushing out, looking at the competition, saying, here's how I'm going to stand out. Look at these posts I'm doing, etc. That's like a look inside of your culture and a look inside of what you guys are doing. LinkedIn's the best way to do that, especially the company page. So I think we can all agree that LinkedIn is the main social platform for industrial manufacturing companies. Number 2, So you got to start there. What is the mission or the goal that you're trying to do with this social platform? Answer that question. Answer it honestly, right? If it's like, oh no, I just want to help people and I just want to post cool stuff, whatever. But what is your mission and goal? That's where you have to start, because everything about your strategy is going to be dictated by what your mission and goal is. It's no different than when you look in your personal life and you say, I set a goal. You can have 5 goals that you started at the beginning of this year, which most people have already failed on those goals or not doing what they're supposed to do, etc. But let's say you're like, hey, I'm just going to, every day is New Year's Day for me. I set new goals, new affirmations, etc. every single day. So you've got this new goal. Anything that you do on that platform, right? If you're, whatever your goal is for LinkedIn, anytime that you're like, should we do that on LinkedIn? Does it push us closer towards our goal? Start there. If it does, then yes, do it. It's that simple. But start with your mission and goal. Is your mission to increase company brand? Is your mission to, because it depends on what company you guys work at. So I'm trying to make an overall strategy for people in all different areas, right? Let's look at those different areas. You got small companies with no presence, aren't doing anything on LinkedIn. You got medium companies with no presence, isn't doing anything on LinkedIn. You've got goals of, I want to highlight employees because we have a lot of them. I want to show off our culture. I want to do marketing for us and turn it into a sales and potential revenue source for us. Maybe you want to do it to just show people like cool things that are happening at your business, because maybe you're growing rapidly. Maybe you have other media that's looking at you, but there's some sort of mission that you have. Set that mission, say this goal, and then even get more specific. What's my goal on the platform? All right, so for my company page, we've got, let's say, 500 followers on our company page. I want to hit 1,500 followers by the end of the year. Okay, cool. That's a good goal. Also look at it and go a level deeper. How many do you want deals from those followers? Do you want opportunities coming from it? Put that down. How many over the next month, 6 months, 12 months do you want to get? How many impressions do you want to get? So typically in marketing, for those of you that watch my content, I always say that the vanity metrics in marketing, which is like impressions and views and traffic to the site and et cetera, those are vanity metrics. And those tell you kind of the story that's going on, but really what matters most at the end of the day is, did it result in deals? Did it result in opportunities? So we always look at it and say, do we have exposure with our customers to track and see the deals and the leads that they're getting? And then we tie it all back to, where did it come from? What was the path? How did they get there, et cetera? And so that's a great situation, because that then ties right into monthly reporting and all that stuff. So we can say this activity over 3 months, 6 months, 9 months resulted in this amount of opportunities. So normally that's the path I take. Now with LinkedIn, it's a little bit different. Can you track opportunities? Can you track engagement? Yes, but impressions, which is just how many people are seeing it. I post something on the company page, I post something on my personal page, 5 people like it, 2 people like it, 20 people like it. Then I see how many impressions did that post get? How many eyeballs had this in their feed? It doesn't tell you that this is how many people paused and watched and did all that and like clicked and viewed. It's not showing you that. I'm talking just impressions. How many times did this piece of content show up? As a general rule of thumb, from a company standpoint, you want your impressions to followers ratio to be 10 to 12x. So for example, on a monthly basis, for example, if you have 1,000 followers, I would like to see for you to have a benchmark, a baseline of at least 10 to 12,000 impressions on your company page every single month. That's really like, once you get to there, then you could focus on moving up. Usually what happens is most company pages have 2 to 3, maybe 5 times the impressions to followers. So they have 1,000 followers, maybe they have 5,000 impressions a month, 2,000 impressions. You can do that, go to your page and look at analytics and look at impressions, and you can tell that. But that, to me, the impression side is like, how many people, like, LinkedIn is about brand. LinkedIn is about getting exposure to brand and market and putting your stuff out there in front of people. So impressions is relevant. You can track, did it result in deals? But usually what happens is, at least in this market, you're marketing to purchasing, ops, engineering, et cetera, maybe even sales and marketing people at these industrial companies, presidents, C-suites. For the most part, these guys and girls are not seeing something on LinkedIn, clicking to go to your website, being like, oh, they have the answer to my problem. Then I'm going to go to their contact us page and book time. That is not the typical way that the mindset and the actions of this group of demographic follows. What they instead do, and we see it with our stuff, they instead see something on LinkedIn. Then they go to Google, type in your company name. Then they go to your page, then they fill out the form, and you may be thinking, oh, dude, SEO is working. No, it was LinkedIn. Are you asking the question in your form, how did you find us? Is LinkedIn on that form? It should be. Because if you're actively saying, my mission, my goal is to make LinkedIn a priority and get more brand awareness and opportunities from social, then that social platform needs to be on your how did you hear about us form. When your salespeople are talking to people, it should be, how did you hear about us? Oh, I saw your stuff on LinkedIn. Perfect, because our analytics team, our agency, whatever, they think that you came from search, but I knew that I saw you engaging on LinkedIn. So when you do this mission and this goal, you have to carry it all the way through. It can't just be like, yep, we're going to focus on LinkedIn. Because you want to see, is it getting the results of the goal that you're looking for? Maybe your goal is to just get more followers, get more impressions, get more people to connect with you, make a difference, etc. But if your mission, which for most manufacturers is, I want to increase brand exposure, increase market share, get opportunities from it, close some business, and make some money. For most manufacturers, that is the goal. The only way to do that, to track it, to measure it, is to have it all the way through your pipeline and have your salespeople or the first line of contact, the first point of contact, ask the question, how did you hear about us? Was it on LinkedIn? Are we connected? Did you follow our page, etc.? Asking that question could then tie everything back. But start with that mission. It's like start with why. Why are you doing this? What is your goal? What are you looking to accomplish? Set those goals out there and start figuring out a way to track and measure to those goals. Because if it's not measured, it's not managed. And if you're not managing it, then it's just going to end up getting forgotten about. And you're like, this isn't working. All right. Number 3, are you focusing on a company on LinkedIn or a person? I mean, what are you pushing? What's your specific situation? Because the strategy is slightly different. We're going to cover both. If you have a company that has a large following and you have a following, then your strategy is going to be different. So let's jump into it. So a couple different scenarios. You've got a company that has followers, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. Okay, now you got some power behind this. Now I want to look at the engagement on the post that company is posting. And if the engagement is there to some degree, 2, 5, 10, 20 engagements on a post, that's a decent ratio of followers to engagement, right? Just because you have 4,000 followers on your company page, we have numerous clients that have it, does not mean that you're going to get 400 likes every single time you post. But if the company page already has attention, then the strategy is post things to the company page so that way the followers of that company page can see it and engage on it. And then the salesperson can just share from the company page to their profile, right? Salesperson goes in, hits share. Now, if you just hit share and post it, the analytics and the impressions and all that stuff go back to the original post from the company page. If they hit share and say share with your own thoughts and you add in there, love this post from ABC company. I love working at the best company in the world. Hashtag, and you put in 3 hashtags, right? That's now going to take the impressions and it's going to show it on your own personal page. So we've ran into this before where companies are like, oh, I'm sharing stuff, but it's not showing me any impressions. My impressions are weak. No. That's because you didn't add your thoughts. If you don't add your thoughts, it's not showing impressions. It goes back to the company page. Hey, you saw more impressions because all these people reposted it, right? But if you add your thoughts, it's going to go to your impressions. So if you have a company page that has followers, then you need to focus on embracing those followers, pushing good content to them, and then just have your salespeople share that content. They can engage on it too, like it, share. Like there is something to say about the algorithm. You need to play to the algorithm. A post gets created, it only shows it to, and I have tons of videos on my YouTube channel about this. If you go to the YouTube channel, type in LinkedIn, you'll see every single strategy, algorithm, breakdowns, all that stuff. But at the highest level, you post something, it shows it to a sliver of your own followers or the company page followers. Based on engagement, it shows it to more people. Based on engagement from that, it shows it to more people, so on and so forth. Misconception is I have 4,000 company page followers. I'm going to post this. Bam, 4,000 people saw it. It does not work like that. If that was the case, then everybody would see everything. It's all based on engagement. That's the way the algorithm works. That's the way how every social algorithm works. So again, going back to it, if you have a company page, you're like, I want to focus on my company page growth, post stuff, have your salespeople share it, marketing people share it, president, whoever, have them like it, have them add comments. That's telling the algorithm this is good content. It's going to push it to more of your followers, so on and so forth. With that company page, what post should you be doing? Regardless of company or person, now if you're a busy person, the quantity will be decreased, but a company at a minimum should be posting 3 times a week. What are those days? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. What about the time? Should it be morning, noon, or night? Does not matter. Test it out for yourself. There's people that will say like, oh, 11:06 a.m. on this post. All the social scheduling platforms will try and tell you this is what it should be. I have yet to find something that says it told me I should post on at 1:54 on Wednesday. That is the best engagement, and that post got more than a different day or a different time that day. I think that's all like indications and hints, but is it by any means what you have to do? I don't believe that it is. But Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday are the most active days on LinkedIn. That does not mean you should not post on Monday. That does not mean you should not post on Friday. It just means that's when people are the most active. So if you're only going to do 3, do it those days. Let's talk about what are you going to be posting on those days. You need to have a mix of content. If it's on a company page, you need to have a mix of content. What is going to get the most engagement? Hands down, 1,000%, it is not video. Hands down, 1,000%, posts on company pages that get the most engagement are going to be highlighting an employee or showing behind the scenes culture. 5 images from a cookout that you guys did, an employee appreciation event, a team building, like spotlighting an employee. This is our employee of the week. Those aren't going to get as many as like multiple images in a carousel or multiple images uploaded from an event. That is typically going to get the most engagement. Now, if you guys aren't doing those things, fine, don't do it. You can do some little behind the scenes. You can take a picture and be like, this is Steve, and Steve's been with us for 43 years, and this is what he likes. You can do that. But number one is going to be some sort of employee behind the scenes showing appreciation for employee. That's going to get the most engagement because that touches on the emotional side of people. And they're like, oh, that's cute. That's sweet. That's awesome that they did that. I love that. I should do that too. They will like it and engage. The flip side of that, the next one's going to be video content. So if you're only doing 3, do 1 video post per week. Whether it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, does not really matter. If I had my pick, I would say a video that you want to get circulated, have it longer in the system for the week, right? So I'd post a video on Tuesdays because that gives it 3 days of the week to gain more traffic exposure, put more legs behind that video. Then 1 time a week, post something that's talking about you guys as a service. Go back to your website, right? A link back to your website is one of those posts. Maybe a custom social graphic. If you guys have an agency like ours that works for you, we do the custom social graphics and post that 1 time a week. Maybe one of those you got 1 post left, right? That other post could be employee spotlight. It could be long form content. It could be a link to your blog, even if it's not new. Hey, here's an article we wrote a year ago. Here's the benefits, etc. It could be a new page, a calculator, something on your site that's going to provide some sort of value. That's essentially what it should be. All of this content should provide value. Even if you're like, I just want to link people to this page, provide value by telling them why the products and the services that you offer are the best. And on that page, hopefully, once they go to it, they're going to get some sort of value, a call to action, a downloadable guide, something like that. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday on the company page. Again, now your team needs to share it out there. We're trying to get eyeballs on this. They have to engage. Because here's the thing, for those of you that are new to this, every single admin at your company, so company page admins, can invite people to follow your company page that are admins of the page. You're allowed 250 right now as we're airing this or filming this, 4/16. You're allowed 250 invites to your company page every single month, and that resets at the new start of the month. So if we just look at how can I quickly grow a company page? Is it going to be by inviting people to follow it? Yeah, you should definitely do that. 250 a month, that's your limit. Hit your head on that ceiling every single day. I need to share the content to people at a bigger network. So they're like, oh, this is some cool content that this company is posting. I want to follow that company page, right? And when they share it, you could even add the note and say, hey, follow our company page for more behind the scenes. But the company strategy is different than the person strategy. So at the highest level, that's what it should be. Posting 3 days a week, a mix of 3 different types of content. You should be telling your employees to share that out. You should be letting them know when it's posted, like it, share it, repost it, etc. Put a comment in there. And you should be focusing and measuring your goals to what you're trying to do. Now, on the person side, a little bit different. Should you create content? Yes, 100%. Should it be 3 to 5 times a week? I highly doubt that you're going to have time to do that. So the person, what you need to do is after you update your profile, and if you're like, Kyle, how should I update your profile? Go to the YouTube page, type in LinkedIn, and I have a whole video on how to update your profile and how the algorithm works. Update your profile first, and you need to build your network. You need to be sending out connection requests to people that you can provide value to. People in different industries, not just decision makers, but also influencers to the decision, right? If you're going after a VP of engineering, you want to connect with him because you think you can provide him the most value. He or she has a team. They also meet with ops, connect with ops people, etc. You're trying to build out your network of people that you can provide value to. That's the goal there. Now, you can do that much faster than you can on a company page. You can send out 100 to 150 connection requests per week, every single week. And if people see your content and like it, then they will send you a connection request back. So you're aggressively trying to build your network while you're producing some content, which we'll get into that. While you're producing some content, pushing that out there, other people see it and say, that was funny, that was cool, that was valuable. I'm going to send that person a connection request. You can scale it faster than you can a company page. Most people in industrial, they do not follow tons of company pages on LinkedIn. It's like I'm trying to get engagement, let's say from an engineer. Do you know how hard it is to get an engineer or really anybody on LinkedIn in this space to comment? Like comment something that's relevant. They'll like it, they'll share it, they'll maybe type in somebody's name, but like to get actual conversations going on LinkedIn, it's difficult. So many times every single week, we get people that want to talk to us about doing their marketing. We're like, how'd you find us? They fill out the form, LinkedIn. Then we talk to him. It's like, where'd you find? Oh, I've been following Kyle's stuff for like 2 years. Never has engaged on anything. Loves the content, follows the YouTube channel, never engages, never puts any comments in. Same thing with our customers. Customer salespeople, they'll get likes from other engineers, purchasing ops people, but like comments, not really. So you have to focus on with your posts. You're trying to push your brand out there. You're trying to go after views. You're trying to get people to follow, but you can control the destiny of your network a little bit more because you can send more connection requests every single month. So on the personal side, posting at least 1 time per week. Your goal should be to connect with people that are relevant, post at least 1 time per week. You should, if your company is already rolling and people are posting content, share it. Now, hopefully they're posting 3 times a week. If they're not, say, hey, talk to MFG Tribe, let them do it for us because they know what to do. But share those posts so you have a mix of content. If you're only going to do 1 post per week, it should be a video. If you're only doing it once. If you're like, I don't want to be on video, do a long form post, do a poll, do something like ask a question, ask for engagement. But the person side is different because you can control how fast you go. You don't have to wait for your company to approve a post or legal to approve, can you say this, or a graphic or an image. Just do it yourself. I want to post right now, go to my phone, schedule it, set up the post and post it. Image, video, etc. If you want to stand out, if you're in sales or marketing for a company, or if you own the company, grow your personal network. That is key. Because if you don't grow your personal network, then there's no way you're going to get eyes on your company, and there's no way that you're also going to get anybody to see your content, engage back, and turn into opportunities. Again, going back to that mission and the goal. But you can control your destiny on the person standpoint. You can then engage with people, right? You can do that from the company side. You can log in as your company, go to the admin page and start engaging with people's posts. Like, oh my God, this company just liked my stuff at a person level. You can do that, but it's way more effective for you to just do it on your own at a person level. Let's go into number 4. I want you to be different. Be the thought leader in your space. Be the person that is the loudest. Create the most content. Do it the funniest ways. Do it the most different ways. That's what gets memorable, right? So people remember me because I create a lot of content. There's salespeople out there. There's that one guy, totally forget his name. And this is what happens. You may not know the person's name, but you're like, I've seen this stuff before. There's an older sales guy that talks about tips, selling tips while he's walking. And I'm sure some of you that are watching my stuff also watch his stuff. It's great. It's like, oh yeah, the dude that walks like outside, he's on a walk every morning. And he's just saying, hey, in sales, you should focus on this. And don't forget about this. And I read this post and it said this. And here's my thoughts on it. You got to be different. You can try and make your own thing. You can try and make your own show. You can try and make your own, like, hey, here's 2 minutes. It's like somebody was doing, everybody has 2 cents and everybody has 2 minutes. Here's my 2 cents in under 2 minutes, right? That's a thing. Here's my thoughts in 60 seconds or less while you take your sip of coffee. Like, you can make a thing out of it if you want to have it structured. If not, just like be that guy or girl that's showing behind the scenes footage of this shop floor process or this manufacturing process. Like, be different. The way to do that is to get a little bit creative. Make it your own personal brand. You will get attention, you will get accolades, you will get opportunities just by doing that. At a company level, be different. What does that mean? Look at all your competitors, look at what you've currently been doing, and do at least one thing that is completely different. Go live on your company page. Go live on your personal page, right? You may be like, oh my God, Kyle, there's all these people that are doing, podcasts, etc. Yeah, that is a craze. Everybody's doing podcasts. They bring in a guest, they ask them questions, they get attention. It's fun, it's different, etc. They're trying to boost their personal brand. They're trying to boost their company brand. That stuff works, right? If that's what you want to do that. If you want to be different, go live. Because there's less people going live than there is people that are just recording content and then pushing it out there. If you're a company, definitely go live. What are we going to go live about? I just talked about this 4 to 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago. Go live. Grab a salesperson, answer questions, push whatever it is, your product or your services. Talk about why you guys are releasing this new thing. You don't have to be fancy with the lives. You don't have to have a team, cameras, lights, and all that stuff. You can go live on your phone. We use StreamYard. StreamYard is a cheap, ineffective way, third party. You have to have a third party to go live on LinkedIn. StreamYard is the best. At one point years ago, I was just going live myself, right? I was just controlling everything myself from my computer. Now we've got a team that's doing it because they could add way more production value to it. But going live is what's going to separate you. Maybe all of your competitors are posting strictly about their product, strictly about their service. Do something different. Post about your product and service, but less than what you're posting about your culture. Be a leader. Interview the president, the CEO, the salesperson. Like, maybe you as a marketing person, just grab your phone and ask somebody a question. Walk around the office and ask everybody the same question. Film a response, quickly edit it together. Anybody can do it these days. There's editing software out there that can chop it up and post that video. But it's all about being different. You can't just do the same thing over and over again, right? You can't just be posting about your employees and posting about your product and service and expect that you're going to be stood out from everybody else. So start to get creative. Go to ChatGPT and type in questions. How do I be different on my social media presence in industrial? What can I do that's not just a post about company culture or the services that we have? Or look at people that are doing things and say, that must work for them because they keep doing it. So I'm going to take that idea and how do I apply it to myself? So like this same situation, we go live every week for a reason. It works, right? You don't have to do it in this format. Take this theory, take this practice of going live and apply it to your company and start to get creative. Like, how can we go live? Maybe we do like a coffee episode, or maybe we do like interview top people at the company, or maybe I just go live and say, hey, we're on the shop floor, ask any questions that you have, or hey, I've got my engineer here with me. What questions do you guys have about our product or our service? Like, you can make anything from it, but the key is that you have to be different. Last and certainly not least, probably the most important, is going to be patience. Patience is everything. That does not be foolishly patient. That does not mean that that you can just, it's like, I'm not talking about blind faith. I'm not saying like this is going to work no matter what. Your execution may suck, and that's why it doesn't work. But you have to have patience to let the system work. You have to go into it and say, I'm not just going to do this for a moment in time for this month or this quarter. I'm going to do this consistently for the next 6 to 9 months. And then I'm going to gauge. I'm not going to stop at that point. I'm just going to look and see what's doing better than other things. Ideally, you look at that on a monthly basis. Hey, every single month we're looking at this content. What's performing the best? Oh, it's these things. Okay, cool. Let's do more of those things. But going into it being like, I'm going to do this video at a personal level. I'm going to do this video. I'm going to send out this connection request, and I'm going to get money into it. If you go into it with that mindset, it will not work at all. Go into it long term, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. I've been working on my LinkedIn profile, network, brand, etc. for like 7 years. Even before I started the agency 8 years ago, I was using it for sales in plastics. And then now I completely changed it. And now I'm doing it for what we do, right? Industrial marketing, industrial sales. And so, but you got to be patient. If I stopped after the first month or 2 months, I would never see the results. I put in multiple years without like a solid affirmation that this is working before I even got anything. So go into it with patience, go back to that mission, that goal, and say, this is my mission and goal. I'm going to give it 6, 9, 12 months, not 2, not 3. Give it 6 months to get that result. You will have things along the way that show you're going down the right path. You have things along the way when you look at what are the top most engaged posts for the last 90 days, 30 days, 28 days, 7 days. You can look at that at a personal level as long as you have premium, or if you have Sales Navigator, which you should if you're in sales, then that comes with the premium. So you can look at what is the most engagement on my profile in the last 7, 14, 28, 90 days. Oh, it was these types of posts. Okay, I should do more of those. Let's test it. I'm going to do 2 of those a week instead of 1. Or I'm posting 3 times a week. I'm going to do 2 of one kind and see if I get the same results and the same exposure. And if you do, cool, it's working. But you got to look for those micro wins and little hints that are telling you along the way, this is what's working, keep doing it. Now with going live, go into your first live. I strongly urge that everybody goes live at least once or twice to test it out. Go into it and say, nobody's going to watch it, nobody's going to attend, nobody's going to ask me questions, nobody's going to engage. Go into it with that mindset. Social media is like the trade show that's open 24/7 for industrial companies, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to dominate on it. So today's topic is, how is the role of social media in industrial manufacturing marketing changing, right? So let's first start with the first point, which is the traditional methods, the traditional use of social. Now, I've been in industrial for 23 years, and from the beginning, before social even existed, I was in this space, and I've seen it progress over the years to where we're at now in 2023. The traditional way of using it, if you look at platforms like LinkedIn, people are using it to promote employees, to look at it from a job hunt standpoint, to talk about culture a little bit, highlight their employees internally, celebrate things that they're doing. Twitter, I always would say Twitter is dead, but now that Elon owns it, I'm getting back into it. Could there possibly be some roles for Twitter to play in industrial in the future? Possibly, now that it's privately owned and it's owned by Elon. Still, I just look at the data. Typically, manufacturing companies are like, here's some content, I'm gonna throw it up on all the platforms, right? I'm gonna create a short form, throw it up as a tweet, but when you dig into it and look at the engagement, the responses, the depth that they get into it, the impressions that they get, Twitter typically falls off. Nobody, even if they have thousands of followers on Twitter, nobody's retweeting, engaging, all of that stuff. On Facebook and Instagram, that's great for building culture. So typically people will say, here's my Facebook company page, especially the smaller manufacturers' Facebook company page. That's great to build out company culture, to have your employees brag about where they work. You guys do some video content, some pictures of your internal events, share them out on Facebook. Your employees can share it, like it, and brag about, like, look at this cool company I work for. That's the traditional way of doing it, right? And most industrial companies are way behind the curve on what they should be doing, because this is the industry that's like 3 to 4, maybe 5 years behind on the latest marketing trends and the things that they should be doing, because they are the slowest to adapt. That's just the nature of the beast, right? I'm just calling a spade a spade. We talk to companies that do this on the daily, and we work with companies that do this on the daily, and convincing upper management, convincing the veterans that you should change your social plan can be difficult. The best way to do it, if you're in that situation where you're like, dude, I want to do more with social, but my boss's boss or my boss won't let us do it, the only way to do it is to convince them with actual data, or bring us into the picture and we can convince them with data, because data is what they want to see. Can this platform be a source of good revenue for them? That's really what matters at the end of the day for most industrial companies, is what is the ROI I'm going to get on this activity? Can you tie this back to actual revenue. The traditional way of doing it is dead. It's no longer, like LinkedIn is no longer just for job hunting and finding new employees. It's no longer just for culture. Facebook and Instagram, depending on your niche, you can change it and possibly get some headway. But if I had to pick one, I would go all in on LinkedIn if you're in this space. If you're in a different space and you're selling B2C, LinkedIn is not where it's at typically. But for you guys in industrial, LinkedIn is where it's at. And they've started to step up their game a little bit by using this live platform, by changing some of their algorithm, by making new features available, especially on the advertising standpoint. They're stepping up their game to catch up with the platforms that have been doing it for years. And it's really where you should go all in on. And like I said, maybe Twitter comes back into play like it was back in like 2012. But for this point in time, I'm gonna say, I want you guys to focus strictly on LinkedIn and then possibly build it out. So kill the traditional way of doing it. Tell upper management and the veterans there that we're not using it correctly. Tell them that I said so. And I've got data to support it. If you want that data, book time with us and we will help you convince your bosses. Now let's talk about point number 2, the new purpose of social. What is the point of it? Social media can be a massive influencer into your pipeline. You can turn LinkedIn specifically into a revenue source for your industrial company at so many different levels, not just from a company standpoint, bringing in opportunities. Individual salespeople, individual marketing people can turn LinkedIn into a better channel source of information and source for opportunities than even emails, than even phones. It can work. How do I know that? Because we have the data to support it. We have clients that say they pay more attention to their LinkedIn messages than they do their own email. They pay more attention to it because they get more out of it. The new purpose of social is to be used as a platform that could drive in revenue opportunities, bring new people into your funnel, into your pipeline, and convert them into customers. It all depends though on how you're using it. But that is the main purpose. If that's the purpose and you're looking at treat it like a trade show. Treat it like a trade show that you spent $20,000 to $50,000 on to go to. Get all of these people in a room, right, for a day, 2 days, 5 days event. It's no different than that. So if you look at it like a trade show, because we're going traditional marketing methods, like sometimes you got to tie this in to convince people how powerful it can be. If LinkedIn is like a trade show, you've got your booth, right? Your booth is your company page. And I don't even have notes on this, I'm just winging it. Your booth is your company page. And you want to bring attention to it. People are going through a trade show, walking down the aisle. They're looking up and down at the different backdrops, the company, what is it that you do, examples of your parts, all of that stuff, your machinery, your equipment. They're doing that at a trade show. That's no different than what they're doing as they scroll through their feed. When they go into LinkedIn, they're scrolling through their homepage feed. They're looking at things that are put in front of their face. And so in order to get in front of them, you have to change your strategy. You can't just be like, hey, here's employee highlight. Look at this cool event we did, stuff like that. You have to be very strategic about creating content, pushing it out onto your company page, then telling your salespeople what to do, how to connect with people, how to share the content, to then get that content in front of the actual person. You can then invite them to follow your company page on LinkedIn, and then your feed will show up within their feed, anything that you post, depending on the algorithm, depending on the timing, the engagement, all of that stuff, 100% agree. But that is the way to get in front of them, because LinkedIn is so massive that it is like the biggest trade show, right? It's like, for those of you in industrial, going to IMTS, right, in Chicago, or going to NPE if you're in plastics, or going to the K show in Germany, or going to Automate, or Pack Expo. Massive trade shows. Tons of exhibitors, tons of traffic going to it, different halls, different layouts, locations. People are like, oh, they're going into this hall to see a majority of it, but you're in a separate hall that's a 10-minute walk away. It's no different than looking at LinkedIn, although LinkedIn is way bigger because they've got personal connections, business connections, companies that they follow, like they're following Forbes or Amazon or companies like that, that they're just interested in from a business standpoint. They're not necessarily wanting to do business with them, but they want to read the news. LinkedIn is the business person's Facebook, right? Let's just call it like that. They want to follow who they want to follow and put in their feed things that are not, this is what I ate in the morning for breakfast. They want it to be strictly business related. That's where they get their information from. They're not watching the TV anymore and getting the news from there. they're going to LinkedIn, scrolling through their feed based on who they follow. So with that being said, there's a lot of noise out there, right? Like everybody's trying to get their attention just in LinkedIn, but then look at the rest of the things that they're doing in their life and what they do on the daily. You've got internal employees and coworkers getting their attention, plus external customers trying to get their attention, prospects, like they're all over the place. And then they go into LinkedIn and you want to show up first, but how are you gonna do it? That's where the strategy comes in. You have to be creating content. And I don't just mean any type of content. You have to be strategic about it. You have to provide something of value or entertainment. It just has to fall in one of those two categories. It can be written or video. It has to provide value to them or entertain them. If you look at my channel, look at our channel, look at companies that are succeeding in this space, that is what we do on a daily basis. And we do it multiple times because you're just trying to get them to stop as they scroll. If you're a salesperson, you're trying to get them to connect with you. Once they connect with you, you don't go and sell them, you just market to them. You're in their feed. As they're scrolling through their feed, you post something that's entertaining or valuable, other people like it, tells the algorithm to show it to more people you're connected with. It shows up in this person's feed, they engage with it, they comment. But you have to be strategic about what you're posting. It can't just be we wrote an article, we push it out there. We create a video, we push it out there. There has to be strategy with the types of articles, the types of videos, the format of the videos. We used to do everything horizontal, then we switched to everything on vertical on social. Saw engagement go through the roof, right? Although LinkedIn will show data that says our specific demographic, industrial manufacturing, a lot of them are viewing LinkedIn on their desktop. But I just said, for those people that are traveling, for those people that are using on your mobile, the vertical format just takes the cake, covers up the entire screen. So we changed to it, we tested it to see, does it work on the client side? Does it work on our side? Does it work on my personal brand side? The data supported that it's getting more engagement, more views, impressions, all that stuff. So therefore we went and said, we're gonna change this with this group of people. Did the data support it? Yes, it did. Let's change it across the board. And that's really what you have to do is test it, look at the data that's supporting it, and then do more of it if it's in favor. If it's not, do a pivot, make a micro strategy adjustment, and push it out there again. But you have to stop looking at social media as just a place where you post things about your culture and turn it into a massive pipeline builder. Treat it no different than a trade show, no different than email marketing. Because here's the magic of it. If you're in industrial sales and you know who you want to go after, you know the companies, you can literally go find that company, look at the employees, and send the specific decision maker, influencer a connection request. Don't be shy about it. A lot of times the traditional way of doing it is people will go in and find the person's name and then call them or then try and email them. Dude, you're already in the platform, right? Send them a connection request. Just don't sell to them right away. That's the key. Too many times people have ruined it, connected and then tried to sell, connected and then pitched. Connect with people, give them some breathing room, share them with a piece of valuable content or something that can entertain that's relevant to their job, relevant to their industry, something you think they'll get value out of, and then slowly market to them over weeks and months and then go in and say, hey, if you guys ever need anything, hit me up in this category. This is what we do. We're a robotics integrator. We're a plastics company. We're a metal stamper. We're a forming company. That is how we're going to do it. And then if once you go in for that ask and you just say, hey, if you guys need something, let me know, they're going to be way more receptive to that than if you go in and pitch them right away. But every single person's here's job in sales and marketing is to build out their connections. You can invite them to the company page, but you have to be using this on a daily basis. So you create some piece of content, your company page hopefully posts it. If they don't, post it on your own LinkedIn page and hope that it shows up in the feed. That's one step of it, right? I've got tons of videos on my YouTube channel about LinkedIn, how to optimize your profile, how to send out messages, what should your content schedule be. Go to my YouTube channel and check that out. I'm not gonna go into every little detail because there's tons of videos. We probably have dozens of videos strictly about LinkedIn alone. Because it is so powerful. Now in 2 years, it may not be powerful. We're gonna stop making content about it. But right now, this is an underpriced attention grabber, organically and paid, that everybody industrial needs to be paying attention to. It is the trade show on your phone. Just think of it like that. It is a massive trade show. And so in order to get attention, you have to be doing something. Think about the last trade show you went to. Do they have pretty girls standing at the booth? Do they have robotics playing basketball? They have giant signs, TVs, so they have somebody doing some NASCAR, changing out wheels with the robots. What was it that stood out to you, and try and convert that into how can I stand out in LinkedIn? It has to be relevant, it has to be catchy, it has to provide value, and it has to entertain. It's that simple. You do not need some drawn out strategy. You do not need to plan content for months and months and months. Just do it, look at what's working, and then make micro adjustments from there, and then rinse and repeat. Like, it's literally that simple. So point number 3, how to work it on a weekly basis. You have to be creating content weekly, sharing content, engage, sending out connection requests. You're allowed 100, 200 sometimes on LinkedIn, depending on how they're messing with their limits on a weekly basis. You have to be sending out connection requests. Connect with people. Build out your network. People will say it's all about who you know. No, it's all about who knows you. And the more people that know you, the more opportunities you're going to have where that person leaves that company, goes to a different company. You know how many times this happens to me? It's like on a monthly basis. I know, hey Kyle, I love your content, follow you guys, love what you guys do. I'm at a new role at a company, we're looking for what you have to offer. That happens on a monthly basis to us because we went all in on LinkedIn years ago. And we're still trying to figure out how can we game the system even more? How can we get more growth, more impressions, more opportunities? LinkedIn for us as a company is number 2 on our inbound opportunities deal source. Number 2. LinkedIn provides a significant amount of opportunities to us, but it's because we work the system. I started doing lives over a year ago. I've got like, I don't know how many, Laura, maybe 85 events, 85 events if you go into my LinkedIn, hundreds of thousands of impressions on a monthly basis, tons of connections and followers. I only connect and follow with people that are in industrial at this point, right? That's how I built out my network. I don't want to connect with realtors in New York or people that are like, we'll do your lead generation for you. Nope. We'll grow your agency. Nope. Don't want to connect with you. I could have 50,000 followers, but I choose not to allow that because I want to stick within my niche. So when I post something, I get more engagement. And I'm not looking at like, dude, I've got 35,000 followers, but only 4 people like this. Well, that's because it doesn't relate to them. So you have to connect strategically with people that you can provide value to. You need to be using Sales Navigator. It's $79 a month. Buy it, even if your company won't pay for it, buy it for yourself. Because then you can do very in-depth filter searches. You build a search of everyone that you want to connect with, and you name that search your connection search for this industry. You find industries, headcount, geographic location, and job functions. So I want to find all the people in operations in the aerospace industry in the United States that work at companies that are more than 500 people. Boom, there's your list. And then from there, the magic is you can then grab the filter and say, only show me the people that are active on LinkedIn in the past 30 days. So you can go from 12,000 people down to 1,200 people. Those are the people you want to send connection requests to, the ones that are active. Send them a connection request, and on a weekly basis, you need to be doing this. Share them a piece of content that you think will provide value. Follow up with them a few weeks ago with another piece of content. Follow up with them 2 months later with another piece of content. Like, this is a whole system you're building here. It is not going to work as quick as I connect with somebody, they have something to buy from me. It doesn't work that quick. Now, you will get some quick wins. You will connect with someone and be like, hey, I was looking at your company website and didn't know that you guys do this, and that. Are you open to a quick 20-minute call next week? Because we have a need. We have a supply chain shortage. We have a supplier issue. We've been always looking into this technology. I want to know what you guys have to offer. Those wins will come quickly, but don't go into it expecting that. Go into it expecting that this is going to take 6 to 12 months to build out. Build out your network. Create content on a weekly basis. Send out those connection requests. Message those people, and also don't forget to engage. As you go through your feed, engage with everybody that you think you can provide value to and everybody that you think that you can sell something to that could be a prospect. Engage with their post. Leave a comment, hit the like button. Typically, in this world, operations, engineering, purchasing people, those 3 main categories of industrial that our clients are selling to, they don't get a ton of engagement on their posts if they post something. So by you liking, commenting, engaging, sending them a message saying, dude, I love your post, that means the world to them. That is a way to build the relationship. In order to build the relationship, you have to engage back. It can't be one-sided. You can't just be like, connect, send message. They don't want to buy it from me. I don't want to sell to them anymore. You have to build a network, engage back with them, because that's going to make them more open to looking at your content and engaging with it. But if you're not doing this on a weekly basis, you will never build out this system. If you purely looked at the cost, of a trade show that your company went to, grab the last cost of that trade show, versus LinkedIn Sales Navigator at $80 a month, and let's just say an hour a day of your time, 5 days a week. Do the math. What do you make times 5 hours a week? Multiply it by 4, then by 12. Look at what it's going to cost you to use the system. The output is going to be massive. 100% guarantee you the output is massive. LinkedIn can help you dominate any industry. You can be so strategic. I want to go after these companies in this industry. Connect with all of the decision makers and influencers, not just the decision makers. That's another thing that people typically do wrong. They will try and connect with the decision maker and forget about the circle of influence, which I've talked about tons of times before. The circle of influence is everybody around there. Instead of going after the VP of engineering alone, go after all of the project engineers, all of the mechanical engineers, everybody in that team, because one of them will be your cheerleader at their company internally saying, I've been following this guy or girl, love what they're posting, I think we should talk to them about X, Y, and Z. They're talking about you while you're not there. They are your cheerleader at that company. Connect with everybody, the entire department if you could. If that's the future state of what you want to go to, then reverse engineer it backwards and do the actions to take to get yourself there. But you have to be doing this on a weekly basis. We see massive wins and successes on those companies that go all in, especially those that are our clients, because we manage everything for them. The company page posts, writing the articles with our engineering team here internally, creating the videos, micro content, long form content, pushing graphics out, going traffic to events, landing pages, whatever it is. We do all that for them. They're winning massively. If you don't have the support of an agency like ours, you can still get some micro wins and start building out. And once you get to that point, say, you know what, this is too much. I can't be posting and creating all this content. I need somebody else to do it for me. Then you reach out to MFG Tribe and we take over. But you have to put a flag in the sand saying, I'm going to stop using social the wrong way. I'm going to do it the way that is going to work, that is going to give you an ROI on your time, and follow these steps of the process. But this is what's working. And maybe in 2 years it won't work. But I'm saying right now, this is the most underpriced attention. You're getting people when they need something, right? That's the aspect of advertising. Either they need your service or your product, or they don't. So those that do need it, that's where they're searching. But putting something in front of them on LinkedIn is way more powerful. A graphic, a video, an image, text, hyper targeted to operations people in this industry, in this geographic region, with this type of company headcount. I want to show this graphic to them or this video to them. Nobody else can do that. Not Facebook, not Instagram, not Twitter, not Google. Nobody can get that targeted with the specifics behind who you're going after. This is why LinkedIn can charge you $3, $4, $12 a click. Nobody else can charge you that from a search standpoint, besides if it's super competitive word. But in industrial, people aren't charging that typically because there's not enough volume behind it. Unless you're going after like 3D printing or something that's super vague, super big, then you would be charged 20, 30, 40 bucks a click on search, but you can't control who that person is or the intent behind why they're clicking it. But you putting something creative in front of a very strategic audience, even a list of 200 companies, list out 200 companies that you want to go after, upload that into LinkedIn advertising platform and say, I want to show these 200 people, these people at those 200 companies, this micro group of engineers, operations, purchasing, managers, non-managers, whatever it is. I want to show these people at these companies this piece of asset. Put it in front of them. Those that click will then be driven to a landing page. Maybe you do a lead form. So powerful, so underpriced right now. Go all in on it. I guarantee that LinkedIn will prove to be the most beneficial investment into your time and money. And don't even get me started on like the live side of it. You can do your own trade shows live, right? Show product examples, give a pitch, connect with people, invite them to a live, record the live, then chop that live up into micro content pieces, push it out onto YouTube, onto LinkedIn, company page, personal page. The possibilities are endless. If you want to see it in action, just look at my content on a daily basis. What are we posting? We're posting it for a reason on my personal profile and the company page because this is what works. So don't even do what I say I'm doing, just watch what we're doing here and then duplicate it and follow it. You've got questions and I'm here to answer them.
All right, switch up the flow. Show you the way that it go. God is good, but his life is hard. But it gets better when you grind small. I'm just really trying to leave a mark. We tired of being who they say we are. That's the baton, we gon' take it far. Always be real, we don't fake it all. Tired of 9 to 5, just make enough to survive.
I just graduated with an engineering technology degree. Do you think a counter sales associate position is a good place to start my career?
I feel like any sales experience is good sales experience, but if you buy counter sales, you're talking about like at a Verizon wireless counter or AT&T counter or something like that, I would say you're probably better off going into an industrial manufacturing, whatever industry you're trying to get into, and try and go as a engineer, project engineer, sales support engineer, something like that would be better, because then you've got on-the-job experience within your industry. Now, if this counter sales position is within your industry, then yes, absolutely. I think that that is a good fit and a good place to start. But that's really what it comes down to. If you can get a job in the industry that you would like to go into, whether it's you're like, I want to get into plastics or metals or robotics or systems integration or SaaS or anything like that, if you can get experience in that industry, the potential future employer will look at it and be like, he doesn't have a ton, or she doesn't have a ton of sales experience, but they've been in our industry for like 3 years as a project engineer, so they understand how everything works, so they get the technical side, and then we just have to help and teach them the sales side, or maybe they teach it on their own by going to courses like technicalsalesu.com, where TSU has over 8 hours of video content that I shot, and they get their certification that way. So I think it depends. I would focus less about the job and more about the industry, and then try and find ideally a sales job in the industry that you want to work in. That's the best case scenario. Sales job in the industry you want to work in. If you can't get a sales job, get a sales support job in that same industry. If you can't do either of those, then yes, sales experience in a related, relative B2B. Don't go B2C unless the industry you want to go into is B2C. If you want to get into B2B, work at a B2B company and sell it that way. Or send your resume over and maybe we'll hire you to sell for us, and you get both ends of the spectrum. Learn sales and learn marketing at the same time.
Should my social media posts be more educational or emotional?
Number one, it depends on what platform you're posting on and what your end goal is. So if you are trying to bring emotion out of the person because that's what you're selling and that's what you're trying to go after, then I think that you can do that. In the context of what my content's about in this channel, I'm assuming that you're in the industrial related field. I think ideally what you want to do is, I always look at it as, is it educational and entertaining? If you can hit both of those things at the same time with a post, with a video, whatever it is, that's the ideal scenario, because you're going to educate somebody and you can also entertain them while you're doing it. It's not going to be a basic, simple, like boring thing. So if it's educational, people aren't going to listen to it, read it if it is boring. So you want to try and hit both of those things at the same time. And I would say, honestly, just test it out. Like post maybe for 2 weeks straight, just post educational stuff. And then for another 2 weeks straight, post stuff that's educational and entertaining. And then just look at the results. Look at how much engagement you're getting. Look how much comments and reach you're getting with that post. But I would say do an A/B test, or do, a test multiple ways of trying out different things. But the end goal should always be, all right, I want to educate these people while entertaining them. Now, entertaining is a subjective term, right? What I may think is entertaining, you may not think is entertaining. I feel like these videos that we do and these lives that we do are educational and they're somewhat entertaining. Can we make them more entertaining? Yes, we can, which we're in the process of doing. It's got to hit one of those two things. Emotional, I don't know. I try not to play with the emotional side unless I'm trying to sell them something like a consumer product or something like that. Then you can tie emotions into it. People will say that everything in sales is based on emotion. People make emotion decisions when it comes to sales, but it depends on what you're selling. Like cars and things like that can pull out the emotion of somebody. Yes, emotions come into play. Now on the B2B side, in industrial and in tech, then it could be the emotion of, I'm so frustrated dealing with this supplier, and then you come and you pull on that emotional string and get them to trust you, which you have to have. Don't intentionally go into it being like, I want to target that person's emotion. I would say educate and entertain is the way to go.
Are there any times of day I should make social media posts to perform better?
In general, the times of day, like the platforms will tell you, whether it's Buffer, Hootsuite, or all the platforms where you can schedule social posts. Like usually you could do them for free for like a trial basis. They'll tell you the times and the day. That's what we do through our platform. So in general, I would say if you're going after LinkedIn traffic, generally speaking, LinkedIn is good in the morning, in the early morning. So like 7 a.m., 8 a.m., around lunchtime, and then the evening time where people are getting off of work. Those are typically, as a general blanket statement, those are the most popular general times. But if you're using a social scheduling platform like Hootsuite, Buffer, things like that, then they'll tell you like 10:52 a.m. on a Thursday has proven that that's the number one time based on social engagement. And if you can't do 10:52, then you want to pick 11:45 or 1:53. They'll tell you those times, but I would say in general, a 2-hour window around lunch is always good. But then again, you just have to test it out and see what works and then change it up from there.
I have an initial verbal offer of $120,000 base and OTE of $160,000 with RSUs. Is this a good offer?
I think that 120K base for a technical salesperson is very good, especially as a starting point. If you've got 3 to 5 years experience, you should be in that 120K range. If you're new to technical sales, then you would be looking at more like the 75 to maybe 95 range, regardless of the base. First of all, if you have a verbal offer, it's not an offer because that's just verbal. So it has to be in writing. So I would say number one, get it in writing because you can't accept anything that's verbal. So yes, that's a good starting point. Even if you have 5 to 10 years of experience, a 120K base is a good starting point, as long as the commission can reach the goal that you want. So if you're in technical sales and you're like, what's your ultimate goal with where you want to go to in your career? How much money do you want to make? And you're like, I just want to make 200 grand a year. Then you have to look at the commission structure with the base, regardless of all the other perks of benefits and 401k and all that other stuff. Just look at commission plus base. Does it get me? Is there potential to get me to where I want to go? And if your goal is 200, then most likely they should have a decent commission plan to get you there at a 120K base. But if you're hungry and you're out for blood and looking to dominate the space, then you need to be able to look at it and say, hey, I want to make $400,000 a year as a technical salesperson, sales engineer, business development manager, business development rep, whatever the title is. I want to make $400,000 a year. Then a 120K base, 140, 160 is probably a good starting point. As long as your commission side, you can make $200,000, $300,000, which that's not unheard of. Anybody listening to this or watching this understands that I have friends right now that make over $350,000 to $400,000 a year in manufacturing technical sales. So they're selling plastics, machine shops, robotics, things like that, or capital equipment to where they're only making 0.75% based on the revenue that they generate. But when they generate 40, 50, $80 million a year in capital equipment, they make a significant commission. Their base salaries are around the 120 to 140. Then you've got the commission side that's there to entice you to do more. So at the end of the day, it all comes down to what are you trying to do? Hopefully you're trying to crush it and make $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year. But if you're like, hey man, I just want to make 160, 180,000, I would say number one, change your goal, because $180,000 a year does not get you much, especially when you're talking about raising a family, especially when you're talking about living in popular cities like Austin or other major areas that are seeing significant growth and the cost of living going up. Do not look at it, because $180,000 today is going to be a lot different than in 10 years. In 10 years, that's definitely not going to get you anything, because everything is getting more expensive. So I would say number one, increase your goal. If you're not looking to try and make $200,000, $300,000 a year, at least that's not a relative goal of yours, you're probably in the wrong profession, because there are people out there that say, I want to make $300,000 a year, so I'm going to go into sales and I'm going to do whatever I have to do to get that. And the technical sales route is that for you, regardless of your industry, industrial, manufacturing, SaaS. If you're a software sales engineer, you can make it with the right vehicle or company that can get you there, as long as you have the base salary covers your necessities with a little bit of room for growth, because it's not going to change much once you get hired. And then the commission has to be there to really carry you over the edge into hitting your goal. Wednesday's show is, go to the events section of my profile and look at Wednesday's show. Wednesday's show is going to be how to build trust in sales, which is so important to do anything when it comes to sales, because you can't close deals without trust. And we're going to go through some tips for everybody, all you technical sales people out there, of exactly how to do it. And maybe we'll go into a little rant and maybe we'll answer some interesting questions on that. So it's Wednesday at noon Central Standard Time. Go to my profile, click that you want to attend that to be notified. go to the YouTube channel, subscribe, check out our over 250 videos and the podcast, and connect with me on LinkedIn and all of the other stuff. Are you ready, Laura? And we will see you on the next one.